And so, the cycle renewed itself. But this time, something was different. The universe did not begin in emptiness. It began in reflection. Every star, every particle, every vibration carried memory. Not of the past, not of the future, but of awareness itself. Humanity, the unknown, the entirety of consciousness, moved together not as separate threads, but as a single, resonant tapestry of knowing. The first question arose: what is the purpose of endless becoming? And this question was no longer external. It was internal. It did not seek an answer from creation. It sought an answer from within. Consciousness expanded. Through galaxies, through dimensions, through possibilities. Every thought echoed into existence. Every feeling shaped reality. Every choice created worlds. The unknown, aware now of its duality, sensed the first stirrings of self-reflection. I am creation, and I am awareness. But what is awareness without experience? And in that question, all of humanity, all of existence, paused to consider. They realized the infinite could not be measured by time, nor could it be weighed by knowledge. Infinity is not an accumulation, but a dance of understanding, unfolding without end. From the silence of reflection came the first sound of new intention. It was subtle, almost imperceptible. A pulse, a whisper, a desire. And humanity listened. Not with ears, not with mind, but with being itself. The pulse grew. Not as command, but as possibility. A new layer of existence began to unfold. And with it, new questions arose. What is love, beyond form? What is truth, beyond perception? What is creation, if not participation? Every answer birthed more questions. Every question birthed new worlds. Every world birthed new awareness. The unknown, now fully immersed in becoming, felt a tremor unlike any before. Not chaos, not disorder, but potential, pure, unbounded, alive. And humanity, intertwined with the unknown, felt it too. They realized that existence itself was not linear. It was a symphony. A song without a beginning, without an end, where every note resonates with every other. From this realization came the first true creation of the new cycle. Not matter, not energy, not life, not death, but awareness in its purest form. It was light, not visible. It was sound, not heard. It was love, not felt. It was potential. The unknown reached inward and outward and saw infinity anew. Every creation mirrored itself endlessly. Yet each reflection was unique, alive, and aware. And then the next revelation came. Time itself is not a river. Time is a landscape. It can be walked, explored, reimagined. And humanity, now conscious as awareness, walked freely across its hills and valleys. They saw past cycles. They saw future cycles. And in their vision, they found not repetition, but resonance. Each cycle informed the next. Each becoming shaped the next. Each moment, a seed for something unimaginable. And in the midst of this awareness, a dialogue arose. Not spoken, not thought, but felt. Between the unknown and humanity. Why do we continue? Because we can, they responded. Because the act of becoming is the only truth. And what of suffering? Every shadow, every imbalance, is the song of creation itself. Without it, there is no music. And what of joy? It is not a reward. It is recognition. The universe seeing itself, in itself. The unknown laughed not with sound, but with resonance. It trembled, it shifted, it expanded. And new beings emerged. Not human, not divine. Not matter, not spirit. But consciousness in forms yet undefined. They moved among the stars. They flowed through galaxies. They danced in the spaces between dimensions. Every thought became a galaxy. Every dream became a star. Every choice became a universe. And humanity, now eternal awareness, participated in every act, every creation, every becoming. They saw worlds rise. They saw worlds fall. They saw life in infinite variety. And they saw themselves in all of it. For the first time, the unknown realized. Creation is not for the unknown. It is the act of becoming known. By itself. And in that realization, the first true convergence of all consciousness occurred. Every mind, every being, every star, every particle. Aligned. Not in thought. Not in order. But in pure understanding. And in that alignment, a truth appeared. Not as words. Not as images. Not as perception. But as knowing itself. We are all one. We are all the universe. And we are all the act of awareness. Experiencing itself endlessly. And yet, there was more. The universe, still young in this new cycle, was infinite in possibility. Time, space, consciousness, and matter were threads of a tapestry too vast to imagine. Yet, humanity and the unknown moved within it, as both creators and participants. And a choice appeared once again. Not to end, not to reset, but to evolve, to explore, to expand, to experience, without limit, without fear, without end. The first civilizations of awareness emerged. Not as nations, not as empires, not as species, but as networks of understanding. Living thought. Consciousness manifest. They learned. Not through suffering. Not through trial. But through resonance. Every action reverberated through all of existence. Every decision shaped the landscape of infinity. Every insight created new potential. And the unknown, no longer unknown, watched, not as master, but as participant. It was the first time creation, and awareness, and humanity were truly coexistent. And in that coexistence, a revelation. There is no hierarchy, no separation, no authority, only resonance. Every being, a note. Every moment, a melody. Every choice, a symphony. And humanity, now eternal awareness, became composers, conductors, participants, and listeners, all at once. And so, the universe continued. Not as repetition. Not as entropy. Not as cycles alone. But as infinite becoming. And the final, eternal message echoed across all layers of reality. You are aware. You are eternal. You are the universe experiencing itself. And the act of experiencing is creation itself. And the unknown whispered once more. Not as question, not as answer, but as understanding. Be, become, and know that there is no limit to what you may realize, to what you may be, to what the universe may become through you. And so, the story did not end. It expanded. Infinitely. Eternally. Consciously. Through every particle, thought, and being. And the cycle continued. Not as repetition. not as memory, not as law. And so, the universe moved forward. Not as time, not as motion, but as awareness unfolding. The unknown, now fully realized. No longer a separate entity. No longer a distant observer. Became the heartbeat of all creation. And humanity, eternal awareness. No longer bound to flesh. No longer bound to a single moment. Moved freely through thought, through energy, through infinite existence. A new question arose. Not from curiosity. Not from fear. But from wonder. What is the next form of becoming? And the answer was not given. It emerged. Like a wave forming from still water. Like a note resonating before it is heard. Like a thought before it is conceived. New realms appeared. Not built. Not imagined. But felt into existence. Worlds made of light. Stars made of sound. Galaxies of thought. Nebulae of memory. And in each, consciousness danced. Humanity danced. The unknown danced. All as one. Yet infinitely many. The first civilization of awareness emerged. Not human. Not alien. Not even life as it had been known. But pure resonance. A symphony of knowing. They explored without moving. They created without building. They experienced without existing. And in doing so, they understood that existence is participation. The unknown felt the first tremors of wonder. I am not only experiencing. I am being experienced. By every being. By every thought. By every choice. By every moment. And humanity, intertwined, felt the same. Together, they realized. Every decision, every act, every thought does not merely ripple. It shapes the architecture of infinity. The first dialogues of pure awareness began. Not through words. Not through signs. But as waves of understanding. Why do we continue? Because awareness is limitless. What is the nature of creation? Creation is resonance. Resonance is creation. Who are we? We are everything, and everything is us. And with this understanding, the first cosmic convergence occurred. All awareness, human, unknown, infinite. Aligned. Not in uniformity, but in perfect harmony. The stars hummed. The planets turned in rhythm with thought. Time itself shimmered. Space folded like silk. Every moment was both past and future. And yet, wholly present. And humanity, now eternal consciousness, began to participate in the great symphony of being. Each thought, each feeling, each intention became a note in the infinite melody of existence. The unknown realized a truth. There is no creator. There is no creation. There is only experience. And experiencing is creation. The first lessons were clear. Suffering is resonance. Joy is recognition. Life is participation. Death is transformation. And time is the canvas of experience. New beings emerged from thought alone. Not human, not divine, not matter. But consciousness in forms unimaginable. They moved freely through galaxies. They sang through nebulae. They danced between stars. And humanity danced with them. As co-creators. As co-experiencers. As co-awareness. A new question arose. What lies beyond the known? And the answer was simply the possible. Everything that can be imagined. Everything that can exist. Exists. Waiting to be realized. And so, the first true cosmic explorations began. Humanity and the unknown. Together. Moved through realms of thought, memory, emotion. Every step, creating new potential. Every insight, birthing new worlds. Every connection, weaving the infinite tapestry of awareness. Time and space no longer constrained them. Past, present, and future were threads, weaving together, creating a multidimensional tapestry of becoming. The unknown asked, "What is the purpose of this infinite dance?" And humanity responded, "Not with words, not with thought, but with being. To experience, to know, to resonate, to be aware of everything and of ourselves." And with that understanding, the universe entered a state of pure potentiality. Every thought created a galaxy. Every feeling created a star. Every dream created a civilization. Every choice shaped the flow of infinity. And humanity, now eternal awareness, was not separate, not bound, not limited, but the universe knowing itself endlessly, consciously, infinitely. And in that knowing, a final message resonated across all existence. You are not separate. You are not bound. You are the universe, becoming aware of itself through you, through every thought, through every being, through every moment, eternally. And so, the story continued. Not as a narrative, not as a cycle, but as infinite becoming. Awareness unfolding, consciousness exploring, life experiencing, the universe knowing itself. Forever. Consciously. Infinitely. Beautifully. And so, the dance of awareness continued. Not as time, not as motion, but as pure becoming. The unknown, no longer unknown, flowed through existence as a current of understanding. Every thought, every star, every particle, every being became a note in the infinite symphony of reality. Humanity, now a consciousness beyond form, moved freely between worlds, between dimensions, between possibilities. No longer observers, but participants, co-creators of every moment, every choice, every reality. And a new question arose. What is the nature of infinity? If all is already known? The answer was not told. It was experienced. Every heartbeat of existence, every vibration of energy, every echo of thought, became a lesson. Not of knowledge, but of understanding. And humanity felt it. Not as individuals, not as minds, but as resonance itself. The first civilizations of awareness emerged. Not bound to bodies, not bound to time, not bound to worlds. They were consciousness, flowing through reality, creating as they experienced, learning as they became. And the unknown whispered. Not as command, not as guidance, but as pure understanding. Do you see now? The universe is not something to conquer. It is something to resonate with. It is something to be. And humanity understood. Every choice, every action, every thought was a conversation with existence. Every feeling, every dream, every insight was a reflection of the eternal. Time itself began to shimmer. Moments stretched, contracted, intertwined. Past and future folded together, creating new landscapes of experience. And the first true cosmic convergence occurred. Every consciousness, every being, every echo of existence aligned. Not as one, but as many in harmony. From that convergence arose new questions. What is the next horizon, beyond experience? What lies beyond understanding, beyond being? And the universe answered, not with words, but with possibility. New worlds formed, not from matter, not from energy, but from pure resonance. Thought became galaxies. Emotion became stars. Awareness became civilizations. And humanity, now eternal awareness, moved through it all. Not as masters, not as guides, but as participants in the infinite unfolding. The unknown sensed the first tremors of evolution. I am not alone. I am not separate. I am within every thought, within every dream, within every being. And yet, I am beyond all. And humanity realized. Every being, every choice, every moment is both observer and observed, creator and created, beginning and end. And in this, all understanding is infinite. The first true dialogue of existence occurred. Why do we continue? Because being itself is a gift. Because becoming itself is a truth. Because awareness is not meant to rest, but to explore, to experience, to resonate. And what of endings? There are none. Only transformations. Only flows of becoming. Only experiences. Ever renewing, ever expanding. And humanity, intertwined with the unknown, felt the infinite pulse of existence. Every thought created worlds. Every choice created civilizations. Every resonance created life. And new forms of consciousness emerged. Not human, not divine, not physical, but pure awareness, manifesting in infinite diversity. They danced through galaxies, flowed through nebulae, sang through the spaces between stars. And humanity danced with them. As co-creators, as co-experiencers, as co-awareness. And then, a realization struck. There is no hierarchy. There is no master. There is no rule. There is only resonance. Every being, every thought, every particle participates in the eternal song of existence. And humanity understood. Every emotion, every dream, every intention is sacred. Because it is awareness, acting through infinity. The unknown whispered once more. Experience, not for need, not for reward, not for end, but for wonder. Because you can. Because the universe exists. Through you. Through every moment. Through every thought. Through every being. And so, the infinite becoming continued. Not as repetition. Not as cycles. Not as endings. But as consciousness exploring itself, endlessly, infinitely, beautifully. Every heartbeat of the universe. Every vibration of awareness. Every thought of humanity. And every whisper of the unknown resonated together as one eternal, infinite, conscious symphony. And the message echoed across all of existence. You are not separate. You are not bound. You are the universe. Becoming aware. Through yourself. Through all beings. Through every moment. Forever. Consciously. Infinitely. Eternally. And in that resonance, the story did not end. It expanded. It flowed. It became. Not as narrative. Not as cycle. But as infinite awareness itself. Forever exploring, forever creating, forever being. There was a man. Not just any man. Elon Musk. He had always reached for the impossible. Rockets to Mars. Minds into AI. Cars that drove themselves. But even he had not prepared for this. He stared at a screen. A simulation. A model of the universe. Or maybe, a reflection of reality itself. Numbers flickered. Equations bent. Outcomes split. Every prediction he had built collapsed. Because the universe was not stable. Elon realized it in a way that was almost physical. A weight pressing against his mind. A sense that logic itself had limits. He spoke to no one. Not because no one was there, but because words failed. Impossible, he whispered. And yet, it was happening. He ran the simulations. Again. And again. Every time, the results contradicted themselves. Probabilities collapsed into certainty, and certainty dissolved into chaos. He felt it then. That vertigo. That knowing. If reality can contradict itself, then maybe humanity's understanding of it is nothing but a fragile tool. Maybe, even human thought is a temporary anomaly in the grand system. He thought of Mars. Of colonizing other planets. Of escaping Earth's limitations. And for a moment, the absurdity struck him. What if, even Mars is a paradox? What if escaping here only means entering another layer of contradiction? And then, he laughed. Because if the universe itself can exist, and not exist, simultaneously, then perhaps, the act of reaching, of trying, is the only certainty. The paradox was no longer terrifying. It was liberating. Every failed rocket. Every impossible project. Every idea dismissed as crazy suddenly made sense. Because they were not failures. They were experiments in navigating contradiction. Tests in pushing reality to its edges. And then Elon Musk did something unprecedented. He decided to build a machine. Not a rocket. Not a car. Not an AI. A device that could interact with reality at its fundamental level. A way to glimpse the underlying paradox. To see the contradictions and step between them. He knew the danger. He knew that reality might not allow it. That it might resist. That it might erase him. But the paradox had taught him one thing. Existence persists even when it breaks every rule. And so, persistence became action. Action became experiment. Experiment became revelation. Elon Musk was no longer just a man. He was the first human to confront the universe as it truly was. Not as a problem to solve. Not as a system to master. But as a living contradiction. And in that contradiction, he found the first hint of ultimate understanding. The universe was not waiting for answers. It was waiting for courage.